Hi guys, so today I wanted to do a story time, and it just so happened that it's Saturday, the Saturday before Halloween, so I might upload this on Halloween, so happy Halloween everybody. So that is why me and Gabriella here, are all in costume. Obviously, if you're a big, YouTuber, you'll recognize my makeup is inspired by Crispy, and it took me like 2.5 hours to get this tutorial down. She makes it look so easy in that 6-minute video. So I'm basically like a gangster clown type of thing, and I did Tony too. We have the same outfit on, so you can go check out my Instagram if you want to see pictures. But anyway, today's story time includes Gabriella because it is about a time where we didn't go together, but I first went to this medium, like a psychic medium, and then she went too. So I wanted to kind of share my experience with you guys and tell you how I kind of went from skeptical to kind of believing it. So let's get started. So just a little background, quick background story. I have never been like a religious person, a spiritual person, anything like that. I wouldn't say like I'm particularly atheist or any like anti-religion or anything like that. I just have never had really strong beliefs in any general direction. I just don't really know what I believe, whatever. And also, I'm 23 and I had never lost anybody, any family members or anything like that until this past April when my aunt passed away. Well, I had lost family members, but I had lost like grandparents who were a lot older and I was way younger. So it was different. Like I had never lost anybody being, an adult and having somebody who was young and, passed away too soon. So obviously I was very gracious to not have that happen until now, but it was hard for me when my aunt passed away, and it still is. It's weird to think that it's like been so many months. It feels like it was yesterday. But anyway, that is kind of why I wanted to go see the medium. If you would have asked me to do this a couple years ago, I would have been like, no, I'm not doing that. What a waste of money. Like, that's so stupid. It doesn't mean anything. They're not real. But basically, having my aunt pass away, and also coupled with the show Tyler the Medium, which we both watch, and Long Island Medium too. I know Long Island Medium came out first.
I never watched that.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched it a few times, but like it didn't have an impact on me the way that Tyler the Medium did, or maybe I just wasn't looking for it to have an impact on me because, when Tyler's newer and it's just whatever. But watching that show and seeing everybody's reactions and like how genuine they seem and the things that he's telling people, like the ABC News people he did, and like it looked so real. And I'm just like, if he's able to do this, somebody else has to be able to do this too. So I really wanted to go see a medium to see if I could kind of connect with my aunt. And, I know sometimes they give you readings about, your life and what's going to happen and just whatever, your vibes that they feel. So I kind of was into that too. So that is when I found a medium. Tony's family had a friend who went to this lady who had rave reviews about her. She doesn't have like a Facebook or a website or anything like that, which I kind of liked because it wasn't like she was fishing for clients. Like it's all referrals. So she's not trying to just...
trying to get money.
Exactly. I mean, obviously it costs money, but basically, so I called this woman, Athena, made an appointment with her, and it was $70, which isn't horrible because there was another one that I was looking into that I still want to go to. This thing is really bothering me.
I mean, my mom paid $100 and it was a group reading, and ours was one-on-one for about 45 minutes to an hour, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I thought it was a pretty good deal.
Me too. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about first my experience, and then Gabriella also went to Athena too after I did and after I told her about my experience, and hers I feel like was even crazier than mine, so I definitely want Gabriella to share her experience, so that's why she's here today. Also because we're about to go out and rage at a Halloween party.
Exactly.
So anyway, I have some notes here. Gabriella didn't take any notes because she's not a good team member.
I remember everything now.
Yeah, mine was a little farther. I literally tried to think. I forgot a lot of the stuff. I'm an idiot. I should have recorded it. I should have wrote it down the day after.
I actually told you to record it.
I know.
I didn't even record mine.
It's like you're in the moment and like you just don't even think of it.
I know.
And then it's like, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, okay, so I got there. It was like this 60-year-old woman. It's like in her apartment. So, wasn't shady or anything, but I think it was like 45 minutes away.
When I walked in, she first showed me her cat. Like, took me all the way in the back to show me her cat.
Gabriella loves cats. Just kidding.
I hate cats.
Hates them. There's a Snapchat filter with a cat on the head, and I was gonna snap it to you because I thought it was appropriate.
Oh, really?
Doesn't Gabriella's skull look really good? She thinks it looks bad, and I'm kind of like, whoa, like it looks.
I'm not
really
a makeup
good.
artist or a professional.
She's not.
So I hope it doesn't look that bad.
No, it actually looks really good.
Really?
Yeah, for
Oh.
sure. But anywho, okay, so I went to see this lady, Athena, whatever, got into her apartment, she's got her cats, she's holding her cat at the table, like petting her cat while she's reading me. Did she do that to you?
No, the cat apparently now was like sick, had diabetes, and was like sleeping on the couch.
Well, I think she had 2 cats, actually.
Oh, well, I only saw the one.
Yeah, but anyway, okay, so she did the tarot cards. She took cards, she had me shuffle this deck, and then she put, how many did she take out? Like 6? 9?
I think it was like 6.
Yeah, something
Maybe.
like that. Okay, so a couple of things that she said. So she first kind of started to talk just about me and my life with like the tarot cards. And one of the first things she said was, oh, your boyfriend, his work, like works with his hands for his job and he's training for something. And I was just like, oh, okay, because Tony is in the carpenters union, so he works with his hands and he's an apprentice. So like the apprentice means, you know, kind of like the intern of the union. So it's like, you know, your training period. So I was like, okay, that's relevant. That makes sense. She said that he loves me very much. Tony is literally sitting right over there. So that
Just watching.
Just watching. But she said he loves me very much, but we're kind of different and we're on different levels. But she said he does truly love me and we will get married.
Tony's turning then, like, this is a lot. This is wrong.
But the thing is, she told me I'm going to meet somebody potentially one day at my work that could, like, I don't remember how she worded it, but basically she was saying he could rock the boat somehow, but like, but he won't, but like it could be possible. So I don't know, we'll see if that happens. Yeah, he's not even paying attention. But so this was another thing she said, that she like predicted the future, which like is crazy. But if this shit happens, like I don't even know what I would even think. She told me we're gonna have 3 kids. My first will be a boy, and then my second is going to be twins, a girl and a boy twin. Like that is very specific, okay? And at first she asked me, she's like, do twins run in your family? And they don't run in my family, but they run in Tony's family, like boy and girl twins specifically. His cousins are boy and girl twins, and then his grandmother was a boy and girl twin. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I didn't even think put 2 and 2 together.
Exactly. So she asked me that. She's like, does twins run in... She said I'm going to have twins, and then she asked me if twins run in his family. So it's not like she went off of...
Like, the fact. And
Yes.
was like, okay, this would... Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing she said, she asked me if I was a writer, which I am not currently now for my job, but I was doing freelance writing for about like a year and a half, and, you know, writing articles for like Huffington Post and Philadelphia Magazine, ghostwriting, all that stuff. So I was like, yes, actually I am. And she told me that I would publish something soon, or might write a book or something like that. And I've like thought about writing a book. I don't know. Maybe in like 20 years or something. I don't know what it would be about, but... Okay, so she said that I would possibly go back to school, right? She also said I will work in possibly the medical field. And so I don't exactly work in the medical field, but the company I work for now, like we are a publisher of magazines for doctors, for eye doctors, and I plan conferences specifically for eye doctors where they can get like, you know, credits, continued education credits, if you know what that is, whatever. So like, you know, essentially it's not like I work at freaking McDonald's where that's nothing, like.
She could have just said, like, you're like a salesman or whatever. Like, she just, like,
Salesman.
but she, like, went into detail and was pretty specific and pretty, like, on point.
Exactly. So that is true. The thing about going back to school, I like would never think, oh yeah, I'm gonna go back to school. But it's funny because the other day I was talking to my boss, and they're like, you can be such a thing. I'm doing kind of like event planning, like conference planning, meeting planning, and you can be a certified meeting planner. It's like a big thing. So my boss was kind of telling me to do that, you have to work 5 years in the meeting planning industry to begin with, to even like sit down to take the test. So obviously that's not like happening anytime in the near future. Tony, can you shut the door? So, but anyway, so he wanted me to kind of look and see if I could like take classes, maybe get some type of certifications or whatever to kind of get on the road to becoming a certified meeting planner, which I am thinking about. Any type of like education that your work is willing to pay for is like awesome, and that's like something to put on your resume or whatever. So that kind of interested me, how that kind of came to be, and I would have never thought that. I would never thought I'd be working at a company that's to do with medical whatever. Another thing she told me, which is so weird, is specifically, I don't remember how she said it, but she was like, you're going to be going to Florida. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to Florida. I'm literally going to Florida in 5 weeks. One of the conferences that I'm planning is in Florida. And so how weird is that?
That is so weird.
It's not like she said you're going to Washington, D.C. or you're going, like she said you're going to Florida.
Or just saying you're going away.
Exactly.
Like she knew where you were going.
Exactly. So that's weird, right? Like it's not every day that I just go to Florida. I have not been to Florida since I was like 12. Another thing she said that was just about like the future and life, and not the future, just life, was she's like, who bought a car? And I'm like, I don't know. I know Tony was like considering buying a car at that point. His family had just gotten a truck a couple of days ago. But I was like, okay, maybe it's that. And I thought that meant something. But then I called my dad and I like told him all the stuff that she had said to me. And he's like, Jewel, like I literally just bought a car right now. He's like, his lease was up and he went to go get a new one, and he was like driving off the lot like as I was on the phone with him. So that was pretty cool. And that was like thinking in my head, like, is that a general thing that she could like say to everybody? Like, no, you like the chances
she
are
didn't
what
tell me I was buying a car.
Yeah, so that was one thing she said. And so she said a couple other things that were personal that I'm not going to say, but that were like extremely spot on, and just other things that I really can't remember, unfortunately. So I'll have to like be smarter and do a recording if I go see a medium again. But the other thing that she was doing with the whole spirits thing is, you know, randomly throughout the reading, she'd be like, who's William? Who's John? Who's Teresa?
This is exactly what she would do.
Yeah, and at first I really didn't like know any of these people. Like, honestly, my dad has such a bad memory, and all the names she was saying were like Irish, and my dad's side of the family is Irish and English, so it's like, it's probably people that like my dad just doesn't know, like ancestor-wise or whatever. I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. But she's like, this guy William, he's like an older guy. Like he says he's like somebody's great-grandfather, or no, uncle. She said Uncle Bill. He's calling himself Uncle Bill. I'm like, I don't know who Uncle Bill is. But she said he literally like
calling himself Uncle Bill.
Uncle Bill's pancakes. No, but she said he literally like walked into the room with me. I'm like, so you see like a dead man spirit like walking into the room? And she's like, yes, like he came in with you, he's with you, he's your strongest spirit. And I'm like, Bill, what's up? Thanks. And she also told me that a baby was with me, and she's like, this could represent like a miscarriage, or, you know, an infant that died. And my mom actually did have a miscarriage before she had me. So I was like, is my mom's like, you know, unborn sibling, child, whatever, like following me around, which is kind of like eerie, but whatever. So then basically why I went there in the first place to see if I could connect with my aunt. My aunt's name was Kathy, right? So all of a sudden she goes, who's Catherine? And like immediately, like you can't even help it, because it's like at that point the like my emotions are still like raw from it, and I'm just like, I'm like Kathy, I know a Kathy is my aunt. And she's like, okay, like, you know, was it cancer? And I'm like, yes, obviously a zillion people die from cancer. It's like not like, oh my god, did she have the most specific disease, like whatever. She had cancer. She goes, she's telling me it's a woman's cancer, which it was ovarian cancer. So I was like, yes, ovarian cancer. And she's like, okay, like she's telling you that, you know, she remembers the conversation you guys had, and she knows that there's something of hers that you know, found, and she's happy that you have it, which I did. I found a keepsake in her house that, you know, we were looking for in a mess of the house, and I was really happy to have found that. And she also said, she's like, tell my boy I'm okay, like, he's taking it hard. And so the medium was like, does she have a son? Did your Aunt Kathy have a son? And I'm like, no, but my cousin was very, very close to her and saw her in like a motherly figure type of way, and that was like a son to my aunt. So I kind of took it for what it was in that way, and I told my cousin, and he was just like, you know, really emotional about that and excited to hear that. And that was, for the most part, my experience. I don't know, the things, basically everything kind of adds up and made me believe it. As time goes by and I forget things that she says, it's not like I'm 1,000% a believer at this point or a complete skeptic. Like, I'm kind of still right in the middle, but it was a really good experience, and like, I want to go see another one.
It'd be cool to see another one just to see like what consistencies you can see like throughout like both readings. Like, if someone was completely different about a situation, they were like, or unless they were like completely the same.
Yeah, there's that, and then also just the fact of like, if this other person, a new medium, touched on something else, just to know that it's like a real thing, because she said a lot of things that, you know, were very spot on, but also could possibly have been guessed. When I made this appointment, I did not say my last name. I just said my first name, and I don't know, this one
I
was
said
like
my name was Gab.
Yes.
And I don't even like go
Did
by
you
Gab.
call up a different phone number?
No, I called off my house phone.
Okay. All right. Well, all right, whatever. So tell me just in a nutshell about your biggest takeaways from Athena. She went to see her after
Well, I went
did.
to see her not for like a specific reason. Like, I did like lose my mom 2 years ago, so she was one of the people that I really wanted to connect with. But just because Julia just had like a really successful reading, I was like, this is really cool and I want to go see her.
Yeah, why not?
So like a lot of personal things she was spot on, but we won't go into that. But she also was like, Gabriella, who's Joseph? And I was like, I don't know a Joseph. She's like, he's saying he's your grandpa. And she's like, Athena's like looking at me, and I was like, why can't I remember my grandpa's name? And regardless of anything
That's
she
awful.
says, I don't want to have like a dramatic like response on my face
to
because
give her anything.
Exactly. So regardless, even if I was so sure that his name was Joseph, I wouldn't have been like, yeah.
When
Like,
did he die? Like, were you little?
but he passed away when I was 2 years old.
All right.
So
yeah,
I don't.
It's not
I've
like he
never
died
really
like
met
last
him.
year, and she just forgot his name.
Exactly. And I'm not as close with like my dad's side of the family as I am with my mom's. So this is my dad's dad. So I always just known him as Grandpa. And unfortunately, we don't like talk about him that much. So I was like, what is his name? And I'm sitting there like, Gabriella, think of your grandpa's name. What is his name? And I'm thinking, okay, my dad's oldest brother is Joseph, so it makes sense if my grandpa's name is Joseph, you know, the first son.
Joe
But I'm
Jr.
like,
and Joe Sr.
I'm just like nodding my head, and
Can't get this back in, whatever.
she was like, he's saying he's your grandpa. I'm like, okay. So I'm just sitting there taking it all in. I was like, okay. And she was like, he's saying he's very proud of you girls, meaning my sister and I.
And she knew at that point that you had a sister, right?
Yes, she knew that I don't actually remember that. I think
Did you tell her you have a sister, a twin sister?
I
or no?
did eventually, but I don't know, like,
if it was
in the
before or after
yeah.
that, yeah.
And we turned out really pretty.
Why?
That's what he said. But then when I went home, I was like, making sure that my grandpa's name was Joseph. And
No,
it was.
sweetie, his name's Kevin.
Like, one of my dad's like, it was Richard or something. But regardless, like, she could have just been like, because I was so, like, not like, yeah, that's his name. I was just like,
It's not like she said Joseph and Gabriella said, oh yeah, that's my grandpa. And Athena's like, yes, it was your grandpa. Like, she specifically was like, was Joe your grandpa?
He's saying
and
he's
she's
your
like, wait,
grandpa.
what? I don't know. She doesn't even know. So I think that was like my biggest thing. Wasn't there something else too? Like,
So another thing is, she goes, Athena's like, do you have any more questions? And I was like, I was really hoping to talk about my mama. And I didn't say my mama's name or anything. I just said I was kind of hoping before I leave to talk about her, because she mentioned other names, like ancestors, that I wasn't really familiar with, that said, just like Julia said, they are with me, but I'm not.
I gotta do an Ancestry.com search here.
Exactly. So
I remember most of the names she said.
she was like, Teresa.
She said Teresa to me! Damn it!
Julia!
Well, my mom's middle name is Teresa, so that could be somebody. So I feel like that is
So that would
somebody
make
in my
sense.
family.
Okay.
So it's our Italian, it's the Italian in us.
Yes.
That's why.
And I was like, yes. And I like kind of like was holding back tears for a second because she like knew right off the
I
bat
was doing
that
that
my
too.
mom's name was Teresa.
Yeah.
And she was like,
Oh, wait, how did she know that? Oh, you
Because
said I
I
want to
said
speak to my mom, and she said, oh, Teresa?
Yes.
Wow. No,
So-
that's a huge thing.
and Athena was like, did she pass away wearing like an oxygen tank, or was she having a lot of trouble breathing before she passed? And I was like, yes, she suffered from, oh God, I forget the name of it. COPD.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, she could not breathe for the life of her, so when she was in the hospital about, like, passing away, she had an oxygen tank, she needed that. So she knew that just like she knew your aunt had cancer.
Yeah, women's cancer.
So she was also saying, she's very proud of you and stuff like that. And then the last thing that she said to me was, I'm also hearing or seeing someone and they have a Russian accent. And I was like, okay. Now, I'm like Italian. I was like, who would be Russian? And then she keeps on going and she was like, it's a woman. And I'm thinking, okay, my grandmom, my dad's mom, was from Estonia. And she literally had like a thick like accent. But I never like considered like, oh, that's like a Russian accent.
Wait, she told me somebody had like a Scottish accent for me, and she started imitating it, and I was like, oh my
Wait, she started imitating this too, I swear.
Damn.
But she imitated the Russian accent.
Alright.
And I was like, okay. And she was like, saying that she's always with you. And she didn't say her name specifically, but she was saying like she passed away recently. It was like 2 years ago, and it was my dad's mom. And I was like, okay, that's like pretty on point. But overall, I think that she was on point with all my other like life experiences and all of
Except
that.
for one thing.
Except for one thing.
But we can't say.
No.
Alright guys, so we are off to a Halloween party, and we're gonna party it up like it's on sale for $19.99.
It's on sale for $19.99.
So I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye guys.
Bye.